Great. It's time to welcome our guest, Tanya Verkaitis. Welcome, Tanya. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, wonderful. It's a coaching show, so I've noticed how quickly time can fly on this show. So without further ado, let's just jump in. Let me know what's going on with you.
So I've basically started a new endeavor in life, and I'm wondering how to kind of motivate myself to keep moving forward, because a lot of times I just started working for myself. When you work for someone else, you have goals and weekly things that you have to do. And I think I find myself a little distracted at times, or saying I can do that later. And I'm just trying to figure out ways to stay on task.
Okay, interesting. So that's the biggest challenge for you. And this you've created, just tell me a tiny bit about the business.
Right. So it's Eco Arts Living. And what I've done is I've started a blog that talks about the things that are important to me: gardening, outdoors, mindful living, that sort of thing. I also would like to become a coach myself, but most of what I've been doing is workshops, because I have done a lot of conferences in the past. So I'm trying to use the workshop format to get myself out there, but I'm halfway teetering between maybe I'm someone who's meant to be more of a speaker than a coach.
Well, what do you enjoy more? I mean, you haven't done the coaching yet, so that's a hard question. And what would be, why wouldn't you do both?
I don't know. And yeah, I actually have one client that things are going very well with, and she's kind of out of the blue, not someone I knew previously. And the reason I decided to go into coaching is because I seem to constantly be coaching friends and family.
Okay.
So it was suggested to me. And then when it comes to the workshops, I love doing that sort of public speaking and interactive thing where you have numerous people that can contribute to the conversation, which is why I enjoy the workshops. And I don't enjoy developing the PowerPoints. There is that, but there doesn't have to be a PowerPoint. But also because I think of my specialty as being people who work in the nonprofit industry, and looking for work-life balance. I feel that workshops would be good for that.
And that's what the workshops, it's a kind of a coaching type of a workshop.
Exactly.
So it's about self-help and all that
Mhm.
whole field. Okay. Okay. Now there's just some words that raise a little bit red flags for me,
Okay.
which is like usually like you want help staying on task. So I just always like because something about like, can you help me force myself to do something that I don't want to do? It's like,
Right.
no, I can't really do that. And I'm
Right.
not sure that I should, because I'd rather look at why, what does that, what happens when you don't want to be on task?
Okay. Well, I guess part of what happens is because this is a new endeavor for me and I no longer have my full-time job, I get distracted with the thought that, well, I still need income. So are there other ways that I can supplement my income? So it's not that I'm not doing what I need to do to move forward. It's just this constant worry and need to feel like, ooh, I must do something else just to make sure I don't find myself in trouble.
I totally get that. And it's such a valid concern. Um, the only thing that maybe I could suggest about that is I mean, you do other things to get money, like short term, right? So you
Right.
might take a job. Can you divide up your time in such a way that it's a set thing? Because what I don't like about it is that it's a constant worry.
Right.
So there's this little, the little proverbial devil on your shoulder going, you've got to make money. You might not make
Right.
it. You might get kicked out of your house. You might do this. So there's this kind of constant fear that
Mm-hmm.
kind of, even when you're trying to do kind of the more heart-centered stuff that you are doing, it's going to get in your way. It's going to fatigue you.
Right. So maybe just setting aside, all right, I'll put 20 hours a week towards my new endeavor and 20 hours a week towards making sure I have a home.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, because I wouldn't say don't worry about that, because, we all have a set point where we feel comfortable financially. Some people, you know, God bless them, they feel fine, like risking everything.
Right.
And that is so not my style.
Right.
And it might not be, you know, it might not be yours. Some people need to do it because
Right.
it's a statement of faith in themselves and it empowers them. For some
And
people,
I think that's a little of what I was feeling, that kind of, I just have to go all in. Because I do feel that strongly about it. And then now there is that little bit of, well, you can still go all in, but how do you balance the time while still making time for my family and my children and all those other responsibilities and not feel like I'm giving up, sort of. I'm not giving up, but just giving away time.
Exactly. So what would be a good divide for you, if that idea helps you? Because I think the most important thing about it is that it just gives you the power to say, okay, you little devil, be quiet. I'll take care of you, you know, between 3 and 6 later on. You know, you get to say, don't bother me now because now I'm in this space.
Right.
And how would you look at kind of dividing up your time?
That's where it becomes a little difficult. I mean, it would all have to happen within a regular work day, basically, because evenings, obviously, I have other responsibilities. And it could be sometimes weekends, but I guess I feel most creative and ready to go on my new project in the morning. So I might as well use that afternoon time when I'm already feeling semi-drained to give away to something that isn't as important. Something of that sort, I think, would work best.
Or where you don't need the same kind of brain, the freshness. I mean, you're really aware, which is really nice, about knowing when is the right time in the flow of your day for doing this kind of thing versus that kind of thing. And it actually might, I'm thinking it might end up enhancing your work.
Oh, okay.
You know, because like, here's my creative flowery stuff or whatever it is for you, my creative, you know, light up the world stuff. And here's my, you know, tasks. I'm very happy. I'm accomplishing tasks. I'm making money and I'm taking care of business. And it's really a nice balance.
Oh, that's interesting because I've never really thought in terms of if I'm giving away time, it almost forces me to use the time I have more wisely.
Yeah.
So I could, in essence, become more productive.
For sure.
For all that I know.
Because I think also when we're beginning a business, it's actually can be kind of difficult to do it full time because it's just being built.
Right.
You know, so we're sort of pounding away at something that it just needs a little time to grow. It's, you know, it can't really, you can't force it.
Right.
So in a way I could see it being a good thing.
Right. Because I can always downsize my outside time once I get busier.
Exactly.
And especially if I'm doing part-time, then it's not like me taking on a full-time job where I now have to ask for time off if I want to attend a conference, which could become problematic.
Right. So can you do something money-wise that's flexible enough to let you like go speak somewhere if you needed to?
I think I could find something. I have partially been looking at full-time work. Just when I see things that come up that look like something I'd enjoy doing. But there is the fear, of course, that then I would get completely submerged in that and then I wouldn't have time to continue working on my own projects. And then the idea of doing something part-time, whether or not I enjoy it, there's still that, well, will it pay enough? Will it cover the bills? Or so I'm on the fence a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balancing act. I think, yeah. Well, what do you think? Which one wins? I mean, I have an opinion.
Right.
My opinion doesn't matter.
I guess most importantly, I feel if I were going to do something full time, it has to be somewhat enjoyable, you know? And I don't think anything that I enjoy is necessarily going to be easy or mindless work.
Right.
So then it becomes a even finer balancing act to find the time to do things for myself.
Well,
Um,
how would you? I mean, I have two kids. I don't know how many children you have, and I don't know how. I mean, how would you work full time and be part of your family and also build up your business?
right.
How would that work?
I imagine that I would work on my business at lunch. I mean, I've actually thought this out. And I tend to be an early riser, so I
Mhm.
could accomplish just little email things in the morning.
Uh-huh.
But then if there were workshop opportunities and travel involved, then that would eat into vacation time, or maybe I find someone who understands I'm doing something else. But if someone's paying me a full-time salary, I do not foresee them going, great, I'm very excited that you're trying to start your own business as well.
Right. You're trying to free yourself of this place.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll be a challenge, but okay, I mean, it's great that, you have a vision of that, and then how would it look to do the part-time?
Part-time, especially if I found something like real estate, for instance, where you're semi making your own schedule, so
Yeah.
you don't have to be in an office or at the store where you're doing retail at given hours, but you can kind of manipulate the schedule a little bit more.
Yeah.
Seems like a good thing. But at the same time, it still has that kind of start time, like your own business does.
Yeah, it does. It does. And yeah, for sure. I have a friend who's in real estate, and it really took her a while to move up in the office, to get the good
Right.
lead. The whole thing took a while to develop. Well, do you have a cushion, or are you like it's like, you know,
Doer guy. Now I have a little bit of a cushion.
yeah, because that's important too, because then you could, invest in that. Yeah, it's a balancing act. I think that the really important thing is
To watch the rest of this episode, click on the link below the video now if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, click on the Watch the Full Episode button when the video is done.